Hey guys, today I just wanted to sit down and, well, I guess stand up and chit-chat with you about kind of how I'm feeling about social media in general and me being on social media, because social media gives us the impression that we're all constantly surrounded by these perfect humans. We're constantly bombarded with people's best moments, their best picture out of 200 pictures, their healthiest meals, their heaviest squats if you're following fitness influencers. What we mostly see is people's successes. People aren't usually inclined to share their failures, and this is understandable because it's a lot more exciting to share a success than to be like, oh, I failed at this today. Woohoo! Like, that's not interesting content. People aren't as interested in what you're failing at, but it gives us this impression that people are just constantly succeeding, and while we're sitting over here failing at one thing, we feel like an entire failure because we aren't constantly succeeding like everyone else appears to be. And I know for me, scrolling through my social media feed, which is just basically full of fitness influencers, it can make me feel like I'm behind everyone else and a little bit hopeless. Like when I see women who are younger than me squatting more, who have a super impressive physique, just like going out and hitting all of their goals, I just feel like, how could I ever possibly catch up to that? And it honestly gives me quite a bit of imposter syndrome as someone who, you know, shares fitness advice with thousands of people on the internet. As a fitness influencer, I look at these other people and go, wow, like they look so much more impressive. Who am I to think that I could give as good of advice as they can? Why I should just tell all my followers to go follow them instead and just give up because I'm never gonna be that good or have that good of a physique. How can I help people achieve their goals if I haven't reached that point yet? And this is clearly a stupid thought process, not only because I am technically qualified to give fitness advice, but also because so many of the fitness influencers out there, or just influencers in general, are photoshopping their pictures, getting different enhancements done to their body to make them look different. And so what you see on their Instagram feeds isn't even necessarily a result of their hard work or of their knowledge. It's a result of money and Photoshop, and a lot of the times also of amazing genetics. But just because these thoughts are not really legitimate and are unwarranted doesn't mean that social media doesn't constantly make you question yourself like that. And I know for a fact that it is not just me that social media affects this way. I know a lot of you also probably experience something very similar when you're scrolling through your Instagram feed full of fitspos and other motivational people who have achieved a tremendous amount of success, but also make you potentially feel a little bit smaller about yourself when you see them. And so when it comes to specifically fitness on social media, I think it's so important to remember that health and fitness is a journey. We all have our own successes and our own failures. Just because you see someone hit a few milestones on their journey doesn't mean that you have to hit them in that order or even hit them at all. Someone with purely aesthetic goals is going to be following a much different path from someone who has purely health goals. So if you're somewhere in the middle, you're gonna be a mashup of a bunch of different paths. Each path is entirely unique. And even within the two groups of purely aesthetic focused versus purely health focused people, the people within each group are going to follow entirely different paths themselves. There might be someone who's purely aesthetic focused who needs to lose 100 pounds of fat. Another person who's purely aesthetic focused might need to gain 10 pounds of muscle. Their end goal for their physique might be very similar, but clearly the journey that they are going to take to get there is going to be insanely different. They're all gonna have very different successes and very different failures. And with the purely health-focused group, someone in that group might be working towards improving their mental health and their relationship with food, whereas someone else in that group might be focused on fixing a sugar addiction. Both of those paths are also gonna look completely different, even though they're both striving for optimal health. So today, I just kind of wanted to take a minute to tell you guys about my current struggles and failures, just to highlight the fact that we are all on this journey together. Even if it seems to you like I'm 10 steps ahead of you, there's still stuff that I am working on. And some of the stuff that I'm working on might be stuff that you are really, really good at. We're all constantly growing and learning and improving, and sometimes we take steps backwards. Sometimes it's a lot of steps backwards. But that is all part of the journey. So with that being said, one of my biggest struggles and something that I am kind of failing at right now is my work-life balance and managing my stress within that. I told you guys at the beginning of the year in my New Year's resolution video that I wanted to make sure that I took like one day off every other week and made sure that I had some time to myself at the end of the day. That hasn't been happening as much as it probably should be. I've definitely improved since the beginning of the year, and I've been able to kind of force myself to take a step back once in a while, but I am still very much allowing myself to be consumed by work and just working constantly. And this means that I'm constantly a lot more stressed than is probably good for my body, and I also do not get very much social time at all. I'm a major introvert. Like, hanging out with people all the time does not appeal to me, but I am currently in a point where even me, someone who doesn't really enjoy hanging out with people, I know that I need to be hanging out with people more. Like, it's not good. Humans are social creatures. We need a certain amount of human interaction to stay sane. And research does actually show that people who have enough social time, especially with friends and family, tend to actually live longer and be healthier. So, I need to go make friends, basically, is what I'm saying. The next thing that I really struggle with, that I kind of suck at and I'm failing at, but preach about all the time, is sleep. Sleep, and I love sleep. But my natural circadian rhythm seems to be just really out of sync with the rest of the world, and it makes things kind of challenging, and now I'm making excuses for myself, but it is kind of like, I feel like I'm caught in a catch-22 a little bit, because I've noticed when I could completely just do whatever I wanted with my sleep schedule in college, I felt fantastic when I would go to sleep at 3 a.m. and wake up at 11 a.m. Not a practical sleep schedule for like an adult that needs to function in society as well as film when it's daylight out, because if I'm waking up, you know, when there's only a few hours of daylight, that's not really ideal, but that is when I felt my best. So I'm kind of just in this constant struggle state between trying to like go to sleep and wake up at a time where I feel refreshed versus go to sleep and wake up at a time where I can actually be a productive human and get things done. So my sleep schedule is all over the place. I do not have a normal or set sleep schedule, which is not optimal for sleep, for recovery, for all of the benefits that sleep can give. Next is something that I have talked about before and I'm still really trying really hard to work on, but I keep slipping backwards and losing my progress, and that is drinking enough water throughout the day. Yesterday, I think I drank like 8 ounces of water. I had a cup of tea too, but that was it. It's really not good for me. Since getting that light blue Hydro Flask, which I don't know where it is right now, which kind of demonstrates this issue, I have been better about drinking water, and some days I will be able to finish 2 of them, which is usually my goal, but on some days, like, I just forget, I'm just lazy, and I just really do not drink enough water. After I finish this video, I promise you, I will go drink at least one of my Hydro Flasks full of water. I don't really think I need to explain why drinking water is so important. It's kind of necessary for life, so we're working on it, but I'm failing at it. The next thing is also something that I highly recommend very frequently on my channel, and something that I am also not very good at doing yet, and that is getting in regular movement throughout the day. Usually my steps come from, I get in about 2,500 steps in the morning when I go to the gym, so that includes like my little warm up on the treadmill, like a 5-minute walk, plus just walking around the gym as I work out. And then I'll come home And I'm not completely sedentary, but I don't make a conscious effort to move until I go for my longer walk at the end of the day, where I get in about 7,000 steps to hit my total 10,000 steps. So there's basically only 2 times throughout the day where I'm actually being physically active, in the morning and when I go for my walk, which is not really ideal. It's a lot better than just being sedentary throughout the entire day, but I do often advocate for getting up every half hour, 45 minutes, and doing something that gets your heart rate up. And this is something that I was actually really good at doing during college when I was studying, but since I've just started kind of creating a new lifestyle for myself, I haven't yet been able to implement that into my lifestyle yet. It is something that I really want to get back to doing, but something that is not the highest on my priority list right now, and so it's just kind of, we're not doing it. The next one I feel like is something that almost everyone can relate to, and I really want to share this with you guys just to show that this happens to me too. You guys know that I'm on a cut. I'm trying to lose a little bit of body fat. The goal was to eat 2,000 calories in a deficit and then have a few maintenance weeks here and there. The other day, in the middle of one of my deficit weeks, I ate 3,000 calories. That's 1,000 calories over what I was trying to eat for that day. That's 500 calories over my maintenance calories. Now, there were reasons for this, and I totally saw it coming. It was a day where we were taking like a longer road trip, and whenever I'm in the car, I just need a snack. So I knew that like I was gonna go over my calories for the day, and I kind of just decided to not worry about it, and so I don't feel guilty about it at all. I am not perfect when I am trying to lose fat. I do not hit my exact calories every single day. But I do think that this failure also actually highlights one of my successes, and that is in developing a very, very strong relationship with my body, with food, and with exercise. After eating 3,000 calories that day, I didn't feel guilty about it. I did not overly restrict the next few days. I did not go to the gym and try to burn through all the excess calories and punish myself by over exercising. I just looked at it and I was like, well, that happened, time to move on. And then I moved on with my life. And that's one of the big reasons that I think developing a good relationship with health is so critical, and why working on that should be your priority if you don't have a good relationship with food, with your body, or with exercise, because having a good relationship allows me to look at all of these failures and put them into perspective and not beat myself up about them. And there's one last little thing that I wanted to mention that I still struggle with. Well, I guess it's not really a little thing. A lot of people struggle with this. It is kind of a big thing. And it's self-control. I feel like I don't have a lot of self-control when it comes to what I eat. If it's in my house, I will eat it. So if there's like ice cream in my house, that's gonna be gone real quick. Gluten-free cookies, gonzo. Like if you bring cookies over to my house, come back the next day, they won't be here anymore. That's why when I go grocery shopping, I don't buy a ton of treats or a ton of hyper palatable foods, because I know that if I do, they will be gone real quick and I will be feeling sick. So those are kind of the biggest things that I'm struggling with right now on my health and fitness journey. If you are great at any of these things, good for you. I hope to one day be like you. I'm working on it. We'll get there eventually. Just to throw in a little bit of positivity, just so that this whole video isn't, wow, I suck at everything. Just some things that I feel like I have had good success with and have really made good progress on are my consistency with exercise. A few years ago, I hated the gym. I was not consistent with exercise. I felt like exercise was torture. Today, I love going to the gym. I can consistently go 6 days a week if I want, although I do feel like with my lifestyle, 5 days would be better. We'll transition to that eventually, but for now, I can go 6 days a week, and I'm happy to do that. Overall, I also feel like my nutrition is pretty darn good. My diet is like 90% whole unprocessed foods. It makes me feel really good. I do have a pizza or some ice cream once in a while, and that's fine. Like, I don't think I overconsume any of those foods, and I think the way that I eat has majorly improved in the last few years. And as I already said, I think I have made huge improvements in my relationship with health. Years ago, I definitely had a much more restrictive mindset when it came to food. I definitely had that pull to be more and more and more restrictive, whereas now I eat to fuel my body. I love consuming as many nutrient-dense foods as I possibly can, and I think that overall I'm just in a much better headspace than I was. I would absolutely love for each and every one of you to leave a comment down below with any of the successes that you've experienced on your fitness journey. If you want to share any of your failures as well, you're more than welcome to, so that we can all see how diverse and intricate our individual journeys are. And if you have any tips on how to help me with the things that I'm struggling with, they're more than appreciated, so you can share those down there as well. Next time you're scrolling through Instagram or watching someone's vlog on YouTube and it seems like their life is perfect and they've achieved all of their health and fitness goals, and you just start questioning everything that you're doing and wondering how the heck you can ever achieve that level of perfection, just remember that there is probably, almost definitely, something that they are struggling with as well. Just because everything you see on their profile is perfect does not mean that they are perfect. And with those last little words of wisdom, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please do give it a big thumbs up, because it really does support me and my channel, and I really genuinely appreciate it. Please share this video with your friends and your family and your neighbors. Hit that subscribe button to see more videos from me. Hit that notification button if you want to actually be notified about those videos. If you want to check out more of my videos on health and fitness and relationship with health, you can do so over here. And in the meantime, I'll see ya very, very soon. Bye.